Welcome back, my people. Now, today's video is likely going to be the most important video that I do this game cycle. Is all about training. Training is very, very important. And today's video, what I'm going to go through is things that you should be doing at the very start. So we are going to start a new game, and I'm going to go through the things that we should do at the very, very beginning. Let me check my checklist. We are also going to be looking at the training schedules, individual training. We're going to be covering everything, and these training schedules are going to be focusing on match fitness, match prep, obviously preventing injuries, and of course player development, keeping players happy. We're trying to cover everything in our training schedule. So enough of the intro, because I don't want to hang about. We want to get stuck straight into things. Let's go. One interesting thing that I've been doing during this training schedules, but also with my online save as well, I've actually changed the match scheduling. So every single match is played on a Wednesday and Saturday, especially for training. It helps me stay on top of things. And it's also just easier just to work things out, especially when it comes to importing my training schedules, because every match is going to be on Wednesday and Saturday. I can literally just use the same schedules. But don't worry, because I do have youth training schedules. I also have training schedules for Monday, Tuesday, not even Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but for weeks with 2 matches during that week. So it could be Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, Tuesday, Sunday. I've got training schedules to cover all of that. So don't worry, you don't necessarily have to do this for this training schedule, but this is what I was doing for my training test. I'm also doing it online with my kind of youth only save. Again, it just makes things easier for me. So the team that we're going to be is Athletic Bilbao, a very interesting team because you can't sign anyone due to their transfer rules. So you kind of have to rely on youth anyway. So I thought Athletic Bilbao will be an interesting team to try this on. We're only going to do a 6-month test. We're just going to see how players are developing after 6 months, but we also want to see the match results. Are people happy? Are we winning games? And are people developing? That is going to be very, very important. So this is the database. It's just a small one, and we're going to start this save. So before you get into a game, you will see this screen in front of your face. And then what I would do is just suggest a badge and suggest the experience based on your club. Now, you want to actually be good at training, and these training schedules really do focus on fitness and attacking. So for me, fitness and attacking is going to be very important. So we're just going to have it like this. I mean, we want to be a very good trainer. So let's just keep these on 20, 20, I don't know, tactical 20, 20, 20. You don't necessarily have to do this. Again, it's all relative to the club that you're at. If you're managing in League 2, you won't be able to do this, but we're just doing this for the sake of the video, for the purpose of this video. And so here we are. Here we are, day one. The very, very first thing that I do is go to responsibilities, go to match, and remove backroom staff, arranging match friendlies. I would like to do that. Please confirm your choice. And then I will go back as well, go to training. Now, if you're not handling training, make sure you are taking control. Make sure you take control. And also for the under 19s as well, because I do have some youth schedules. So if you want to add that into your youth training, make sure you are taking control. And then again, press confirm. Now, the next thing that I do is look at my pre-season preparation, and sometimes you actually have a training camp, and you will see at the bottom right that you can cancel the training camp. We don't have it at the moment, but if you do, again, cancel that, and then go to your schedules and cancel any pre-existing friendlies, cancel friendlies, and then start arranging them yourselves. Now, this here, I've got a 4-week pre-season, I believe, technically 5 weeks, but we're just gonna say 4 weeks. And then what we are going to do is just add some friendlies ourselves. Now, you want to actually add friendlies that you believe you're going to win comfortably. This may help with players' morale, get them happy, feeling happy, get them in a good mood, but also team cohesion as well. I believe all of this is going to help if you just play the weaker sides or matches that you believe you're going to win. So what we are going to do is just set some friendlies. So this is how I set up my friendlies. In the first 2 weeks, we just got one friendly during the week. There is kind of a reason for that. So now when you're importing your training schedules, you will notice in the very, very first preseason training, you can't actually import your training schedule. You may have to do that manually. So we're just gonna call week number 1 just, it's a write-off. It's a write-off week. We're going to start on this week, basically. It's for the purpose of this video. It stops me from having to manually set the training schedules for the first week. So this is how we're going to set up the friendlies for the very, very first pre-season. Now next is signing staff. I did mention earlier that it's more important to have attacking and fitness coaches due to the training schedules. That doesn't mean now neglect any sort of defensive coaches. Let's say I've got 9 coaches available. I would want possibly 1 defensive coach, 1 tactical coach, and then I'm just going to fill the rest with, well, 1 goalkeeper coach as well, and then fill the rest with fitness and attacking coaches. The main focus, the main priority is fitness and attacking. Also technical as well, attacking technical. You can search for a coach manually. So if I was searching for a coach, this is what I will be looking at: determination, motivation, people management, and level of discipline. Some people leave people management out. They don't really consider it. But for me, it's something that keeps people happy. And in training, that is very, very important, keeping people happy, but also winning matches, keeping people happy is very important. Coaching qualifications, Continental Pro license, because we are in a top league. So I believe having a pro coaching license is going to be very, very helpful. And then we could just sort it out. Looking for an attacking coach here. There's a very decent one, Miroslav, so we're just going to bring him in. Also, make sure you are looking at coach's personality. He is fairly determined. You would want positive, the more positive mentality, the better, because a positive mentality can actually or possibly rub off on players, but also coaches have hidden attributes just like players. They have ambition and professionalism, and it helps them also realize their potential. There's no point having a great coach, but he has no ambition, no professionalism as well. To me, it just doesn't make sense. He's fairly determined now. That can slightly rub off on certain players. So we're just going to approach him as well, sign him as a coach, and then voila, that's our first coach. Mario Hernandez as well, he's the head of development, but we are going to sign him as a coach. We also got this guy, Gert. Now we're going to sign him. I believe that's 3 coaches that I've now approached. How many coaches can we get? 5, so we can get 5 more. So I've signed 3, 2 more now, and we're going to leave these actually to the fitness coaches. So Albert Rocker we're going to bring in, and we're also going to bring in Juan Ramon Tarago. So that's my 5 staff that I can bring in. Now, if I wanted to go really, really deep into this, I would actually start sacking some coaches that aren't good enough. For an example, Sendoa, he's just not good enough, is he? Alberto, actually pretty decent. This fitness coach actually is pretty decent. So if I was managing Athletic Bilbao, I'll probably just sack this Sendoa guy, no use for us, and then bring in someone else on top of the 5 coaches that we've got bringing in. So that's my coach, sorted. Next, I'm going to press this little training icon. I'm going to go to rest, and I am going to sort out my rest. Now, for the first 2, we want no pitch or gym work. So remove this half intensity, go to no pitch or gym work. And then at the very end, we are going to go with double intensity. This is how I set my rest. Now, every player's rest is going to be the exact same. Now, if a player's fitness is on very poor, or if it's on poor, they will do no pitch or gym work. Once it gets to fair and good, they will be doing normal intensity. But if they're at excellent fitness, then they will be doing double intensity in training. Now, for the next step, which you can do and which I will do for today's video, again, for the purpose of this video, I am going to see if there's any first team candidates from the youth team or the beef team. We've got Luis Bilbao here. I mean, he doesn't necessarily look good. He's got 3 determination. He is fairly ambitious, but he's got 3 determination. Or we got Malcolm. This guy looks fairly better. 20 years old, 6'2" as well. He's wanted. Actually, we're just going to promote him because he's one player that we're going to look to develop. So we've got now Malcolm Ares. If I sort out by age here. Oh, we got Nico Williams as well. So we've got a couple youngsters that we can already focus on. Ohan Sunset, I believe I just butchered his name. And then we've also got Unai Vencedor. So those are the 4 people that we're going to try and focus on. These 2 central midfielders and these 2 wingers. So now that I'm happy with my squad, I'm going to go back to training, go to individual. Now, this part is important. Since FM23 has been released, I've been trying to find the most effective way to do training, and it's led me to this point, which is why I believe this is going to be the most important video. We are now in January. This game's been released for a couple months now. I've been trying with training. What usually happens is that I'll get one youngster doing very, very well. And then I look at another youngster and he's doing very, very badly. Now, this would make sense if that youngster was unhappy or if he just didn't really have the potential and he wasn't playing. But that wasn't the case for me. Sometimes I was playing these guys. These guys did have decent enough potential to develop and they just weren't doing it. They were actually going backwards. One player will go forwards, one player will go backwards. And then I found a way now players are way more consistent at training. So part of the method of getting consistent training, I did actually ask my assistant to set all the individual training. Now, one way you can do this, or the only way you can do this, is go to individual. Yours might be on detail, so change it from detail to list, and then at the bottom right, you can ask the assistant to set individual training. Now, what he's going to do is set the training intensity and also the focus. And what we're going to do is remove every single focus and training intensity, and we're just going to keep the position, role, and duty. So apparently the assistant manager knows best, so that's what we're listening to when it comes to position, role, and duty. But for the focus, the reason why we're going to remove the focus is that the training is pretty heavy already, and this is just, it's going to be no help. You're not really going to see any gains necessarily, and plus you're actually adding more intensity to them, which is something that we want to avoid, because avoiding injuries is something that we're trying to do as well. So we are going to remove all the focus, and for the training intensity, if you've got this little, I forgot what it's called now, the thing in the middle of the mouse, you can just literally swipe up and you can put all of them back to normal, which for us will be double intensity. So there we are, and this here is my position, role, and duty training. Everyone's doing what the assistant managers asked them to do. The focus done, and then training intensity set to what we set with the rest. Now, if you want to be really picky, something that we're doing online with our save, let's say the assistant manager has given Oscar DeMarcus the fullback on defend. In our tactic, we're actually using a wing back on support. So we're not going to change the role per se, but we will change the duty. I mean, I don't know if this actually works, but the fact that we're using support in the tactic, I do want him to train support with training as well, and I believe that just helps them with more familiarity when it comes to the tactic. Hopefully it works like that. Hopefully it does. I'm not actually sure, but just to give my head some rest, it's what I did. Or for an example, like this Ika Munuin or Sanhe, actually, I'm actually going to be playing him in defensive midfield. We're going to be using a 4-4-2 or 4-2-4, just something quick. We know that it's the meta in FM23, so we just want to use that tactic. Hopefully we get good results as well. And then we've got Ika Munuin, and then we're going to be playing him up front actually, so we're going to change him to a, I don't know, just a deep line forward. That's possibly the best role for him. So we've changed him to a DM, and we've changed him to a forward, because that's what they're actually going to be playing in with our tactic. So now we've got all the important information out the way. I will have some bonus information actually towards the end of the video, because it's not important. I don't feel I want to waste time saying it now. If you're interested in the bonus information, I will put that at the end of the video. But what we are going to do now is look at the results before we do look at the training schedules. I want you guys to see the results so you guys know that it works. Then we can look at the training schedule. So what I'm going to do for now is actually just skip 6 months, or just go to January or something towards, I don't know, just play 6 months, halfway during the season, and then we're going to see the development, the progress, but also, are people happy and are we winning games? Then we're going to load up the other saves, Reading and my online save, and we're just going to have a look at a few players to see how they developed, and we can see how effective this training can be if done correctly. So let's look at some results. If you haven't, make sure you like this video. If you're new or you haven't yet, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Have that notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a video, and you won't miss a video like this, a very important video. Also in the comment section, you can leave any video recommendations down below. We are back at Athletic Bilbao. Now this test got absolutely hurt, because I also did notice as well, I was playing the wrong Williams at the start on the right flanks. I did change that, but Nico Williams, the guy that we really wanted to see, actually damaged his cruciate ligaments. Ouch, ouch, ouch. It didn't happen in training, by the way, people. It did not happen in training. So that's where we are at the moment. We've only got 2 injuries. Now, we're actually more at the busy end of the season in November, and at the moment, we only have 2 injuries. Now, if we look at where we are in the league table as well, we're performing really well. So we're 3rd. We're getting some good consistency. Hopefully the training is helping with that. But what I guess a lot of you guys want to see is player development. For me personally, happiness is part of player development as well. If players are happy, I know that they're in a good place to develop. So now we're looking at the happiness of the whole squad, looking at the overall happiness. Pretty much everybody is happy. We've got one slightly unhappy, which is Ander Herrera, possibly because he's not playing game. He's unhappy with the amount of playing time, but when it comes to training, he's actually pretty satisfied. Mikel Balenciaga is content, but that's possibly another reason as well. He wants a new deal. And then everybody else is either very happy, happy, or slightly happy. Now, looking at training, Ika is concerned. What's he concerned about? The high volume of strength in training. And we've got another player that's concerned. He's also the same, but similar. Ika was unhappy with strength. He's unhappy with quickness, but everybody else, again, is satisfied with training. So we are all good to go. Now, let's look at some of these players' development. Malcolm Arras. I mean, we've only been out this for 5 months, 4 or 5 months. If we look at his all-time training development, we can see slight overall improvement with his mental ability and slight overall improvement with his physical ability. So Malcolm is clearly developing. Next, we can look at Unai Vencedor. Within this 4 months, you can see that his ability within the team has progressed, which is kind of natural anyway, given he's 21, 22, but it is the attributes down at the bottom, the changes that we want to look at. And again, slightly similar to Malcolm Arras, where in mental ability, there's a slight overall improvement, but also with the physical ability, again, there is a slight overall improvement. Now, this is only 4 months of training. If you add another 2 months, that's 6 months, and possibly we could see some +1s possibly somewhere, because for something like composure, we can see here it did start at 12. Now on his attribute thing, it actually says 13, and you can see here on the little curve, the little graph, we can see 13, but it hasn't said a +1 yet. Now, the way that I understand this, I don't know if this is as facts, so don't take what I'm saying as gospel. It just makes it easier for me to understand, is that attributes actually have point numbers. So what we're seeing is whole numbers, and then under the hood, there's going to be a point number. So for an example, Unai Vencedor's composure can actually be 12.5, 12.6, 12.7, 12.8, or 12.9, and in game they just rounded it up to the nearest whole number. So once it reaches 12.5 or over, it's gone up to 13, and then once we see a +1, that signals to us that he's actually reached 13, he's hit the actual whole number of 13, and now he's progressing from 13 to 13.1, 13.2, etc. That's how I understand it. Whether that's actually the facts, whether that's gospel, I don't know, so don't take it as gospel. It just makes it easier for me to understand. Jack, or Colt Off, he tries to explain something very similar, and the way he's done it, he's actually just he's named it 2 different things. So I believe he's got this as attributes, and he's named this something attributes. So there's our overall attributes, then there's attributes. For us, I guess we could just call it training attributes and playing attributes. This can be his playing attributes, and then over here the graph can be his training attributes, if you're following. Now, something interesting that I wanted to show you as well, a player like Ika, we can see he's 29 years of age. But if we go to development, go to his progress, now his ability within the squad is gone from 3.5 stars to 4 stars. So to me, I believe he's responding to the training well, regardless of his age. He's professional enough to respond to the training well. Either he's professional enough, or we've got those professional coaches. Either way, he's performing well. He's responding well to training, and of course, his new role, because he is a left winger, and we've changed him to a striker. But for now, we're going to go and open up the different saves, so where we can see some real juicy development, where we've played seasons and well, I say seasons, we've played 1 season at Reading and half a season online with these new training schedules. So let's load up those saves and look at some of the results. So Reading is the team that I actually done the full training test on. Domjale, my stream online, I imported that halfway during the season. Athletic Bilbao, we only done half a season. Reading had a whole full season with this. There's a couple of reasons why I chose Reading. Reading have good youth development. They're also they're not necessarily predicted high in the league, so I wanted to see how far the tactic and training can really take us. It's taken us to the Premier League, of course it has. And yeah, that's a couple of reasons. But also in the Championship, you're playing 46 games. So the young players that I am playing will play a lot of games. Now, when it comes to young development, I'm going to stress this. Once a player reaches around 18, 19, the most important thing is game time. I would say 19 years of age, game time. I need to drill that into people, because there's no point having a 19-year-old on your bench playing 5 games a season and expecting to see rapid increases. Now, it's not like that cannot happen, but you don't want to rely on that. You want to play your youth, plays. And in this test, we tested out we tested out playing youth players literally throughout a whole season. The first person that I want to show you is Tom Holmes. He's 23. Very, very interesting player this, because again, we shouldn't be seeing rapid increases. If we look at his progress, I mean, look at his progress from the beginning of the season towards the end of the season. It's like a complete different player. Now, when we look at his attribute changes, I mean, we're seeing a couple ones here, plus ones. If we look at the attributes that are going down, so they've got the downward arrow, this is very, very important. Make sure you're actually looking at the attributes and what they are. Tom Holmes is a centre-back / right-back. Penalty taken, it's not important to him. It's not important to him. I believe how the game works, if a player is close to his actual potential ability, so let's say Tom Holmes' potential ability is at 130 and he's now at 125, if things are still going to go up, other attributes are got to come down to try and balance that ability. So if, let's say, his crossing and dribbling is going up, they may take down penalty taking. If his position is going up, they may take down his teamwork or he's off the ball. So again, I believe that is how it works, not necessarily me telling you that's how it works. That's me believing how it works. But Tom Holmes is the first person I'm showing you because of his interesting development. The first youngster that I want to show you is Kelvin Abrefa. Now, I don't believe this guy has a high potential. I don't actually know. I've never heard of this guy. I've never heard anybody else talking about this guy. I believe after today, a few people are going to be checking this guy out. He's a very, very good championship right back. He started in the under 18s. I developed him. I put him in the first team, played him straight away. Look at his all-time development after season 1. Major overall improvement with technical, major overall improvement with mental, and major overall improvement with physical. Absolutely brilliant development from Kelvin Abrefa. Now, if we look at the role that he was training, he was doing a wing back on support. He's got no additional focus. So Kelvin done really, really well. Nelson Abbey as well. So I did try and change things up. So Kelvin played practically every game that he was fit, whereas Nelson, I tried to manage like how we would manage it in real life, right? So he played one game, we rotated, played a first teamer. Then the games that I felt that we should win, I played Nelson, and we can see that with 15 starts rather than over 30. But if we go to his progress, again, he started on 2 stars. He's now looking at 2.5 stars. He's ready. He's getting ready for the Premier League. If we look at his all-time development, again, slight overall improvement, but we are seeing increases in his balance, his pace, his anticipation, positioning, and marking, defensive attributes that we want to see Nelson Abbey improve with. The next thing I want to show you is the difference between game time and no game time. So we can see this guy started 19 games, and a lot of these games was actually recently. So if we go to his form, you can see I'm actually playing him recently. He didn't start the season, and now if we go to development, look at his progress, there's no real progress earlier on, is there? Now recently, when I did start to play him, look at it, shoot up. Game time is very, very important. If I go to attributes, look at all time, we can see there's a mixed bag. There is a mixed bag. Some things are going down, some things are going up. Composure, decision making, dribbling, and strength is going up, and then some things are going down. Now, let's look at the last month. Last month, he's doing really, really well. Again, this is when he is playing more often, and in training, he's performing well. And if we do all time, or even just 6 months ago, again, look at it. The last 6 months, he's developing really, really well, because this is where he's playing regularly. Now, if I do the whole time, it's not the same story, because he wasn't starting at the beginning of the season, therefore he wasn't developing. So game time is really important. The last thing I want to show you at Reading is Jason Groves. He is a Nugent. He came from the youth intake, so he hasn't been here for long. We're in June. If we go to development, how long has he been training for? What? 2 months, May to June. I mean, it's literally 2 months, but we can see rapid increase already. I've put him in the first team, and already we can see the increase from him. How many games has he played for Reading? He played the last 4 games, and he is trying to develop. Similar story to Jeremiah Okane-Peters. I've just put him into the first team. He's played the last 3 games. I believe he started at Reading, actually. If I go to his last month attribute changes, again, we can see some slight increases. All time, there is more of an increase, but we can also see some decreases as well. But That there is ready. We're now going to open the last save, and then we are going to look at the training schedules. For me, the results, showing you the results is very, very important. First off, at Domjale, I'm going to show you the youth team because we do have youth schedules as well. Are the youth players developing? I mean, silly question. Of course they are. We have Robbie Kera here. If I look at his progress, he's only been with us for 1-2 months, and already we can see some nice increases. Actually, a slight overall improvement with the physical ability. Aerial Rays as well, another region we signed from. Damn, man, damn. We signed him from Damn. Looking at his progress, he's been with us 4 to 5 months. Again, if we look at his all-time improvements, we are seeing some nice development. Another player that's almost making it to the first team, we have Aita Penna. You can see here I've named them almost because they're almost ready for our first team, or it just means that they are developing really, really well. If I go to his progress, look, he's been with us for 4 or 5 months. Look at this. He started at 1.5 stars. He's now at 2 stars, but just look at the increases, man. Look at the increases. We're seeing +1s. We're even seeing a +2 with his composure. That started at 10, it's now at 12, and that can go even higher. His strength started at 14, it's now at 15. Some rapid increases. Another one that's almost ready for the first team, George Guedes. If we look at his progress, look at this actual progress here, 1.5 stars, now is at 2 stars. Looking at his attribute changes, people are developing rapidly. Does everybody in the under 19s develop rapidly? Well, no, not everyone is going to do it. It's not miracle, it's not magic. There is a method. Not every single player, again, look at our under 19s, not every single one of these players are going to be playing under 19 games. Now let's look at the first team very, very quickly. We've got Ziga Milik here. He's on fire. Ziga's on fire. Your defense is terrified. So we are going to look at the last 6 months because I did actually implement this training schedule very, very recently in the save, literally the last 6 months. And look at him. He did play some games in the first team, and you can see that he's played some games in the first team. He is developing very, very nicely. We've got Mandarino here as well. I don't even know how to pronounce that name. I'm not even going to attempt. I believe this is actually one of the viewers' names. I do rename some of my regions. Again, if we look at his all-time development, slight over improvement, slight physical over improvement. He's only been with us for 4 to 5 months. Brighton Spice as well. Again, that is definitely a viewer from Twitch. And then if we look at his overall improvement, again, he's only been with us for 4 months, 5 months, and he is developing really, really well. But enough of me talking now. I believe I showed you guys enough results for you guys to be convinced that there's something special, something is happening with these training schedules that the players really, really like. Something is happening. Samba Diatara as well, last 6 months. I'm just showing off at this point, but I think I've got every reason to show off here. These training schedules seem to be very, very good. And lastly, if I go to injury history, we've got 55 injuries so far, but we were expected to have 144. So injury-wise, we are doing really, really well as well. Of course, it's hard to avoid injuries, especially in games as well. Injuries will happen, but they're not happening at an alarming rate, which is what we wanted to stop. So now let's look at the training schedules. Of course, I'm going to appreciate that not everybody plays Football Manager the exact same way as me. Not everybody is going to really enjoy playing every single game on Wednesday and a Saturday. So what I have done for you guys, my special friends, is I've designed training schedules for basically every situation. We've got 2 matches here: Thursday, Sunday, Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday. Similar with the youth as well. And then we've got the 1 matches which happen on the Saturday or the Sunday. We've got youth Saturdays, Sundays as well, and we also have pre-season 1 match and 2 matches. Now let me load up these schedules. I'm not going to load every single one of them because I mean they're practically the same thing, so I'm going to import the important ones for me, which is Saturday. We do play on Saturdays. We're going to save that, import schedule, and then what's the other one? Wednesday, Saturday as well, and save that. To import these training schedules, you will be downloading this file here, RDF FM23 training schedules, and it will be a zip file. All you got to do is extract them all and boom, extract, and then you have the RDF FM23 training schedule folders in your FM23 schedule folder. Then you go back into FM23, click this little button, import schedule, and then you'll have it here, RDF FM23 training schedules, and all the schedules will be there for you guys. So here I've imported the schedules that I would have been using for the save. Every game is on Saturday and Wednesday. RDF1 match Saturday. What you will find as well, I've got some important information. I mean, I'm going all out here. I have gone all out here. So if you are focusing on more defensive tactics, I'm mainly attacking. You can change Tuesday's attacking session to defending disengage. So we go to Tuesday here, attacking session, and then we can change this to defending disengaged. Why defensive disengage? Because the happiness, the team cohesion, we are focusing on happiness and team cohesion as well as match prep and also player development. If we go to the attacking schedule here, the session, we can see what is trying to hit. The attributes are these attributes here, the attacking attributes: tactical familiarity, creative freedom, happiness, and team cohesion. Defending disengage isn't too different. Tactical familiarity, the attributes, important defensive attributes, the happiness and team cohesion, but not only for the defensive unit. Now, if we move over to the attacking unit, again, you can see happiness is on increase, not slightly increased, on increase. So your attacking unit, just like the attacking session here, players will be very, very happy. So if you are focusing on more the defensive tactics, then I would use, or I'd swap the attacking session on Tuesday for defending disengage. But these are templates. These are templates, and you can see here, if you are getting too many injuries or want to stop players moaning about hard training, you can change Wednesday's match practice. I've spelled practice wrong. And you can change it from match practice to play from the back. Monday and Friday sessions are important, so try not to change them. All of these schedules here, if there's something important, if there's important information, you will receive the important information here. All of these training schedules, the things that we are focusing on, trying to prevent injuries. So the injury risk, we want this to be fairly low or at a respectable level. The condition, again, we want it to be at a respectable level, not necessarily too low. That was the issue with my previous sessions. I felt my training schedules in FM22, the reason why I don't feel they're effective in FM23 is because they're really, really heavily focused on preventing injuries and keeping people fit, rather than there's no sort of development or real player development and things that are keeping people really, really happy. I do have some happiness sessions in the old ones, but again, it was all just swung to one side rather than balanced. I feel this one's more balanced. I've balanced everything: development, match prep, and also players' happiness. Now for the youth training, it's practically identical. I've changed one or two things. On Thursday now we've got outfield, because now these are youngsters. We don't just want to really focus on attacking and defending. We want to focus on everything, especially for the outfield players. You would notice that there's no the goalkeeping training sessions, but you don't neglect the goalkeeper, because goalkeepers will have to train your attacking, who your players going to score against in training. It has to be the goalkeepers. Your goalkeepers, don't worry, will still get enough training. Don't worry about that. Now for the youth team as well, make sure you are controlling the training schedules. I said that from the beginning, but also make sure you have these, this is the rest. So when it's poor or very poor or poor, no pitch gym work. When it's fair, half intensity instead of normal intensity like the first team. And then when people aren't excellent, then we have double. When it comes to the individual training, it's the exact same. Go to list, ask your assistant, then make sure all of the focus is on none and the training intensity is on automatic. And yeah, you will be good to go. Now it's time for the bonus information. Now, let's say you've got a very, very good youngster in your youth team. You possibly don't want to promote him into the first team. You want him to carry on playing those youth team games, but you want him to train with the likes of the first team. So I want him to be training, for an example, with the likes of Ivan Durdov, who is our hero, a fantastic player, or even a defender, Andrej Duric. Maybe I want he's actually 20, so he's not a great example. So we've got this Christian Squehuizen guy. He's 29 years of age. Maybe I want a youngster to be training with him. So what you can do is actually add those players in. So if I go to add NK Domjale under 19s, defensive unit, if there's a centre back, let's say, I don't know, who can be a centre back here? Dennis Maricic, we could just add him. And now Dennis Maricic will be training with the first team. Same for the attackers. If I go to attacker offensive unit, who's almost, look, I'm already doing it with one player. There's Aita Penna here. I could just add him into the first team training. So that's bonus information number one. Number two, Now, mentoring, you can just literally ask your assistant to do mentoring, or you can set it up yourself. Now, the best thing about this is those young players that I've just added into my training, first team training, that are still with the youth team, I can now add them into mentoring. So someone now in the first team, like Zeni Husmani, can mentor someone from the youth team. Now, that's my additional bonus information. I felt that some of you guys might have want to, I don't know about that, I guess. And yeah, that is it. I actually wanted to show you one more guy because his name popped up and I didn't show you earlier. This guy here, I've got a feeling this guy is going to develop really, really well. Though he's got a big con, which is consistency, though he is performing consistently well so far with the youth team. Now, if I go to his all-time attributes, you can see, look at that, 4 or 5 months of training, and he is developing really, really well. But unfortunately, that wraps up today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I do feel this video is going to be one of my most important videos of the year. I know it's a very, very long video, but there is some information that I really, really needed to put in there, especially the results. I needed to show you guys the results. There is timestamps, so you can just skip to the parts that you need to skip to, but I really, really needed to show you guys the key information because it's really going to help you with the training schedules and how you implement them in your saves. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. Don't forget, if you are new or you haven't yet, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you like this video, and also in the comment section, what would you like to see? If there's anything similar to this, like a I don't know, whether it's scouting, buying players, if you want a similar video to this in a different area of the game, then let me know. But I'll see you guys soon. Stay safe, God bless, peace out, yikes.